So now let's have a little bit of fun with the graph editor to create some animation principles like anticipation, overshoot, and then we're going to copy and paste some keyframes and we're going to stagger them so we create a more dynamic animation. Okay, so let's go to composition, new composition. That's completely fine. So anticipation, overshoot, copy and paste. Awesome. So now let's just draw a rectangle, a square. Let's just center that. So go into our square and then let's just center that perfectly. Let's rename this called square 1. And let's duplicate it. Oh, first off, let's align it to the center of our comp. It's a little bit off center. So let's go to view. Let's go to window. Let's go to align. As you can see, it's ticked already, but I cannot see it at the side. So I'm going to click it again. And then it comes up. So I'm just going to align it to composition, so center and center. Perfect. Let's duplicate this layer, Command D. So I've got square 2 and 3. So let's change the size of this. So this is the first time that we've actually gone into this. So let's go into square 2. Let's go to content. Let's go to rectangle. Rectangle path, because that's the outside of our path. And then here we can change the size of our rectangle. So let's go for 225, and as you can see, it's got that link there. So if I hit enter, it goes double the size. Let's go to square 3. Let's do the exact same. Go into there, go into content, go into rectangle. Let's go into rectangle path, and let's go to size. Let's go to 335, and then let's hit enter. Now it's much larger. So let's put square number 3 at the back, square 2 in the middle, and let's colour the middle one a little bit differently. So as you can see, I click on it, but I can't have them colour tools there because I'm on the anchor tool. So if I click there, let's go to fill, just make it a little bit lighter so we can see it. Awesome. So let's go to square 3. So let's change the scale and the rotation. So press S, hold down R. Let's go to let's create some keyframes there and there. Actually, let's start off at 0 on the scale. So I've clicked on it, hit 0. And let's go to 90 keyframes on the rotation, so 90 there. And then let's go down to 2 seconds long, and let's ramp it up to 100. And let's go back to 0 there. So now we've got an animation here that goes from there to there. Perfect. So let's hide these keyframes here. So I'm going to click on this eye and this eye here, and as you can see, my animation's there. So let's jazz up these keyframes. So let's select them all. Let's press F9. So now they are easy ease types keyframes. And as you know, what we've learned before is if we can go into the graph editor. This is the speed graph editor. I can tell because there's one, because they look like this. But if I just select one, say, just off screen here, and let's if it all comes to view. I don't know where normally you can see it. It will have something per second. That's how I know I'm in a speed graph. So if I select both of them, or if in doubt, even if you don't know which one you're in, let's double click on there and let's go to edit value graph. As you can see, we've got alternating sort of graphs here. So let's go into scale, and let's click on that anchor point there. And as you can see, it goes all the way up to 100%. But what happens if I drag this up over that line? So it's got 100% on this line here, so it's actually going to go up to, well, it's going to go past there. It's going to go past 100% and then settle back in on there. So first off, we can go and into the negative here, and if we go into the negative with scale, then it actually creates a negative shape, which is kind of weird. It inverts on itself. So let's have a look at that animation just with scale, and then it jumps up. So that's all, just messing around with the Bezier curves. Let's go to the same with rotation. So let's select here. Let's have it go backwards a little bit. It keeps on snapping here because I've got fit all graphs to view, and that's why. So it's going to go 90 degrees, and then it's going to go to 120 degrees, and then it's going to go all the way down to 0. So let's do the exact same. Let's just drag that Bezier handle down, and let's have a look through. So overshoots, anticipation and overshoot. Let's go back out of our graph. Let's just zoom out here, and let's fit all of it in. Let's go to the end of my comp. Oh, actually, no, let's leave it like that. So now what we want to do is we want to copy and paste these keyframes into the other squares. So we select all our 3 keyframes, so go Command and C. Select my next keyframe. I'm making sure that my timeline is actually at the start here because it's going to paste wherever this timeline is, and then I can go for Command and V. So it's pasted then keyframes in there. So now if I select my layer and I press U, you can see scale and rotation are already there. I can do the same with square 1, Command and V. And then let's go for press U on. When I'm saying Command and V, you can press Control and V if you're on PC. And then we've got all our keyframes there. So just imagine, let's go back in time. I pressed Command and Z or Control and Z, and if I move my timeline down a little bit, and let me just show you, so let's press Command and V again, you see how it's pasted exactly where that timeline is? So that's just something important to know. Alright, so let's drag it right to the start and Command and V again. If I press play now, you wouldn't be able to see these 2 layers because I've got this little eye icon here. I have to make sure they're checked again. So now if I go through, all of them are animated at the same time, but all of them have exactly the same keyframes, which is good, but we can make it look even better. So if I select my square 2 and square 1 keyframes, okay, so I just drew a box around them there like that. If you can't see them, remember if I just press U, and then I can get them up until they're just showing the keyframes that I need. Okay, so I select all my keyframes. Now, you can remember when I hold down Alt, and then I can drag them out. Yeah. What I can do instead, so let's press Command and Z so they're all lined up again. If I hold down Alt, I'm holding down Alt and then Shift, and then if I the arrow key, which is pointing to the right down my timeline, so like down this way, the arrow key that's pointing this way. So if I press that, it jumps them 10 keyframes down. And now let's go to this one here. Hit Alt, Shift, and down. Let's push them 10 keyframes either way. If I just hit Alt and the arrow key, if I press up, it doesn't make any difference with the arrow keys. But if I press Alt and then arrow key to the right, it pushes 1 keyframe. So now let's have a look at our animation. See how dynamic that looks. So this is called staggering keyframes. We've got anticipation and we've got overshoot, and we can create dynamic keyframes that look like this. It's quite cool, isn't it? Let's just change these just for the hell of it. Let's go select all of them, right click, and let's go to toggle hold keyframes. Let's have a look at this animation. As you can see, it just wipes out all of that animation there for us. But we create a different effect, which may be something that you actually want. And then all of a sudden, they just snap on. But let's press Command Z to go back. And there you go. That's like animation keyframes for you and creating some more dynamic range.